Ooh. Now, I've seen Rocky Fielding fight multiple times. He's moving further and further up in the cards. Normally over here in the United States, a Sky Sports boxing card would start at about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He wouldn't normally be fighting around that 2 p.m. around that 2:15, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whereas tonight, today, this afternoon, 4:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, June the 26th, 2015, he just stopped Brian Vera and likely put an end to the career of Brian Vera. American fans know exactly who Brian Vera is.
He's world ranked now by 3 of the 4 sanctioning bodies.
I didn't like how he just spit his mouthpiece and all his spit just dead at the crowd. He didn't do it intentionally, but he got on the ropes. He was like, did the Triple H. But when I say he knocked out Brian Vera bad, listen, I believe, what is this, the second round, third round? He hit him with this one uppercut. The first knockdown, it was mean. Meaner than 2 fat chicks fighting over pork chops and greens.
Timekeeper Gary Grennan records an official time of 1 minute and 39 seconds of round number 2. Referee Ian John Lewis stops the contest. In his opinion, Brian Vera in no position to continue. The winner, the new WBC International...
Brian Vera's lost all 3 of his fights this year. You remember one of them was in BKB. Now, what am I talking about? That was last year when he fought BKB. I'm tripping. He lost his last fight to Willie Monroe, and that was in January of 2015.
Of the overblown Brian Vera. Well, we talk about these rising prospects in the super middleweight division. Here's the next one. Alan Smith coming up next against Christopher Rebrasse. That's the biggest fight of his career so far as well. Rebrasse, durable, and with a terrific engine as well. So we're looking forward to that one. Is he on collision course with Rocky Fielding? Are they going to go their separate ways? How high can they go?
Now, from my understanding, you got a big, you got a big, what you guys call UK domestic clash between Rocky Fielding and Caleb Smith. Now, they're both fighting on the same card tonight. Caleb Smith is the...
How did you enjoy that? You made it look easy.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, supporting me. It means a lot. Yeah, I was expecting a tough fight. Not gonna lie, I've been back there nervous and that, because I expected a tough 12-round fight, but I knew that I'd carry a bit of power, so if I catch him clean, I do a bit of damage, so that's what happened, and I got the job done.
Vera came straight for you, it was easy to hit, and that left uppercut in the first round, the writing was on the wall already.
Yeah, well, we were in the back room there, the change rooms, warming up, then shots, tried to slip his jab and come with the left uppercut, and it worked, and I didn't even know it through, I just threw it and I caught him and he went down, so I was buzzing with that, but, I worked out with all of it. I got some good sparring with Matt and Murray, and, that's the fight I needed, picked me up.
Talk us through what happened in the second round, because you seemed to half drop in, the referee seemed to say, stop boxing, then you caught him with a full shot.
Well, as the referee was saying, if he's knocked down, don't hit him. I think he was on his way down, so, he said it's okay to hit him in the back room, so that's what happened. Until he's on the floor, then if he's still in front, you still hit him until he hits the floor, and that was it. So I caught him with some good shots, and I knew once I caught him with a couple of good tubbing shots, I knew I could get him out of there.
Callum Smith is on next. You've been mandated to boxing for the British title. Will you be watching and supporting him, and is that the fight you want next?
No, well, I'll support him, yeah. He's a scouser. We're all on team supporting each other. And we just definitely sit back down now and with Eddie and Oliver, and we see what the plans next. But yeah, you know, we'll finish. So see what the next move is.
Well, with
you gonna fight him or not?
How impressive was that from Rocky?
He's so underrated, you know. People say, "Oh, Brian Vera," you know. He said, "No one does that to Brian Vera. He's deceptive. He hits very, very hard, and he deserves a lot of credit, you know. And I feel he doesn't get it. You know, he's working his way up the world governing bodies. He'll be in the WBC now. He's in 6 or 7 in the IBF, world rated in the WBA. He's doing things the right way. And, you know, Callum Smith's a huge fight. He's up next, and you know that's a fight that I feel deserves as much as the British title is a wonderful belt, a little bit more. If it comes with a little bit more, I don't see the problem in making that fight." Rocky wants a world title fight, so does Callum Smith, and over the next 12 months they're both going to get him. If they meet each other, you know, could be one of those classic final eliminators, but that was a great performance. He deserves a lot of credit.
Well done, Rocky.
So let's talk about the belt situation. WBC is going to be either George Groves or Bottle Jack. That's going to supposed to be happening in mid-September, I believe. No, it's September the 22nd. You got Andre Ward, of course, who's the WBA Super World, but will likely be vacating that belt. The IBF currently belongs to, who's the 168-pound IBF champion? How do I not know this? How do I not? Oh, James DeGale. You know, then, you know, and they stripped it from Carl Froch. And then you have the WBO, who is Arthur Abraham, who's going to be fighting Stieglitz for the 4th time, for crying out loud. So there are winnable fights there or competitive fights there, but I see where Eddie Hearn is saying that if him and Caleb Smith meet up, you know, it'll make things much easier because they're both in the same weight division. They're both pursuing a title shot. And it's like this. Y'all beat each other in a big fight on a domestic level, and then one of you guys go world class, kind of like when James DeGale had to fight George Groves, and that was kind of premature for both of those fighters at that time. But at the same time, one of them went world class, to whereas George Groves got knocked out in front of 80,000 at Wembley. And then you had James DeGale, who has now won his first major world title before George Groves, who does not have a good chance, in my opinion. Okay, he can beat Bottle Jack, but the guy who Caleb Smith is fighting tonight, named Christopher Rabras, George Groves didn't look good against him in the second half of the fight. So one of the main reasons why I'm covering this card, and of course I'm getting back to covering every single major fight live like I used to, but it's because if you've been following George Groves doing 168-pound division, and you follow the belts and you follow the storylines, this card is very, very meaningful in so many different ways when it comes to the Rocky Fielding fight and the Caleb Smith versus George Groves. I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live, RioCombatMedia.com, and I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe. We're soon, if you don't know, we're covering every major fight. We're getting guys in various different places, and now we're expanding to covering fights overseas. If you're interested, please drop an email to tstreetcontroversy@gmail.com. Of course, check on the page. The email will be right there on the actual channel page in the About section. And make sure you type up a detailed email if you're really, really serious. We're doing some big things. But T-Street Controversy Live.